el programa que trae a tus personajes y artistas para conocer más de sus vidas. En la cabina, escúchanos en Unimpau Radio, www.unimpau.tv y 88.3. En la cabina.
El mundo tiene alrededor de 7.000 millones de habitantes. 3.200 millones de personas tienen acceso a Internet, lo cual equivale al 40% de la población mundial. 2.000 millones utilizan redes móviles para navegar y 35 de cada 100 habitantes tienen una conexión de más de 5 megas de velocidad. Si estás aquí, es porque haces parte de esta población y la web es tu mejor compañía. Por eso, no te desconectes. Conectes. Unimpau Radio tiene para ti un programa que te mantendrá sincronizado con lo que pasa en la web y el mundo de la tecnología. Sky 3. Todos los viernes de 5 a 7 p.m. hora Colombia. Conduce Juan David Oyuela.
Escuchas. Unimpau Radio. 88.3 FM.
From Bogota, this is Dispatch Colombia. I'm Desmond Bastide with the latest news and views from across the country for audiences around the world.
Dispatch Colombia.
You're listening to Dispatch Colombia. Hello and welcome to another episode of Dispatch Colombia. We're delighted to have you along and welcome to the programme. So today we're going to discuss plastic surgery in Colombia. Colombia is the only country in the world after South Korea where more plastic surgeries take place a year per head of population. That's according to Al Jazeera, a country where fake breasts and backsides are, I have to say, a common sight on the streets of cities across the country. But the quest for perfection has come at a heavy price for some who have opted for cheaper treatments with disfiguration and even death, an all too often outcome. Well, freelance journalist Max Ramsey has just written an article for the Observer newspaper about what's going on in so-called garage clinics in Colombia and joins me on the line from Medellin. Max, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be on.
Max, just tell us first of all, what have you found out in your investigation about these so-called garage clinics?
Well, I guess there's two real problems with the plastic surgery industry in Colombia, and one in particular, the most deadly one that is causing the most deaths is the garage clinic. So that is very cheap operations where often people who aren't properly trained, people are not doctors, are doing injections, particularly more often injections rather than operations, for instance, to try and increase the size of, to do a butt lift, and other surgeries like that. So it's not a new thing, people have been aware of this for a while, but more and more deaths keep happening, and people are now, I think, starting to pay attention more to the garage clinics, as well as the other big problem with the industry, which is people who are qualified doctors but are not qualified to do plastic surgery or have done short courses abroad and then are operating and causing some people huge problems, who then often don't have the political power or are too embarrassed to speak up about it. So it's a huge problem, and it's not been properly measured really until now.
So just to discuss, first of all, having experienced myself living in Colombia for a number of months, it actually, you could say, from my opinion, is it's ubiquitous. You see many people with visible changes to their bodies somewhere or another. Obviously, mostly women. It's obvious more than men, but it's something that you investigated because you saw it as a visible problem, or you uncovered it because of other investigations within the country itself?
Well, I definitely agree that it's, at least compared to England, where I'm from, it's much more common, and particularly in the media and reality TV, everyone has incredibly impressive physiques, men and women. But no, it was in particular, it was over the course of one weekend, two women died in Medellin from complications that had arisen from plastic surgery in the month before. And this is one city of 2-3 million people. For two women to die on the same weekend, I thought there must be something big going on here. And in fact, the next day, on the Monday after that weekend, another woman died in Cali. So, I mean, for the few months before that, no one had died in Medellin, but that's people dying, let alone the number of people who are not dead but have been injured by these surgeries. So that was the catalyst for me. I definitely agree. In the culture, it's much more common here than in England.
Sorry, can you just go into some of those stories that you found out about the deaths more recently in September in Medellin?
Yeah, sure. So, the most recent person who died from this was in Cali. So she had been to a local clinic, which is a government-authorized clinic, called the Metaplastic Clinic, which has since been closed by the health authorities. So she went there and almost immediately had complications. The people working there took her to hospital, and she died in hospital. And then on inspection, they found that they didn't have the necessary health requirements in place there, including hygiene. They found that they hadn't been following hygiene requirements, and they didn't have a defibrillator, which is a legal requirement for a clinic like that. So that was shut down.
So you say in your article that they investigated the next day. I mean, was this reactive, or was this a planned inspection, or do we know?
Yes. Yeah, no, this was reactive to the death. And then, in fact, the regional governor went to the clinic as well and gave a press conference there. And she, her name's Dillian Francisca Torres. She used to be in the Senate. She has been very, very strong and very clear that this is a huge problem, and that she wants to stop this happening. Though at the same time, I still think there is too much pressure on women to choose the right surgery. Where for this woman, her name was Gladys Gallego Obando. She went to a government authorized clinic. There was no reason for her to
be concerned about
to worry.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no reason for her to worry. So there's nothing she could have done to be more careful.
And the autopsy or the coroner's report into her death, did it clearly blame the actual clinic itself, or was it just one of these ambiguous kind of outcomes?
I haven't seen the coroner's report yet. I don't think it's been published. Though I will keep looking out for it. So I don't think there's not been any criminal charges or anything like that yet. But the clinic was shut down for, on inspection. Then it wasn't complying with required safety procedures.
You also mentioned in the article, I mean, is 3 in the last 3 months alone, 3 deaths, and then there's 20 women have died since 2016. I mean, that's just in Medellin alone, and we don't have figures for Bogota.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the rates are much higher in Cali, which is a bigger city. I think 9 had died so far this year, whereas for Medellin, that was since the start of 2016. So, I mean, the numbers are really huge. But again, there's no organization that is keeping track of this, which is a huge problem if you want to effectively combat this problem in the industry. You need to know how many people and where it's happening, and keep a better track of it.
There has been a number of campaigns started. One in particular by a journalist who was affected in 2014 by a surgery she had herself, and she's actually pictured in your article. And I mean, it's a shocking visual. Both her breasts are scarred all the way down the middle, and I think her definitely.
That's right. So Lorena Beltran she's a journalist, and she was having kind of pain and dry skin and things like that. He prescribed her a drug which stopped the wounds from closing, which left her with terrible scarring. She's now had full reconstructive surgery with a specialist doctor. But so in 2016, she launched the campaign, and so this picture where she appears with her breasts out showing her scars was on the front cover of El Espectador, so one of the biggest national newspapers in Colombia. So incredibly brave and a very powerful image. And she has particularly campaigned to try and get better regulation for the industry. And so her operation was in 2014, and it did take her until 2016 to really get momentum on this campaign, and she speaks about this very powerfully, how people do not want to speak out about something so personal, and you can feel highly embarrassed, not only for choosing to have plastic surgery, but also for it going wrong, for being scarred. People don't want to admit to that, which is one of the ways that these doctors manage to evade punishment for really criminal actions.
Yeah, you talk about in the article that the doctors offered as some kind of damage payment, that they offered kind of gifts to keep people quiet.
So that was that story is, I mean, it's terrible. So a doctor, after doing this, she spoke to him and demanded compensation for him having done a failed surgery in her stomach. And initially he said to put her off, and he kind of tried to obfuscate with legal jargon, and she persisted. And then he offered to give her his car and the machines in his clinic. Absolutely crazy. And of course, again, she said no, and has been pursuing him for compensation. And I mean, it just goes to show, I think that was a garage clinic rather than a qualified doctor, but it goes to show the ways that these often men, but these people can exploit women and can get away with it. And if he tried to do that with her, I can't imagine what else he's tried to do to other women where surgery has gone wrong.
Yeah, and the government has been sedate in its response to this, hasn't it?
Yes, it's not been good. There was a bill about it in 2015 which was voted down, and then it was discussed again around the middle of 2016. It was around the time that Lorena Beltran was getting a lot of momentum in her campaign. So the bill started in the Congress. So non-essential bills have been pushed back and pushed back. So this bill's been through one of the 4 votes it needs, and it was due to be discussed in the Chamber of Representatives 2 weeks ago, but it didn't get discussed because, again, they were discussing things related to the peace accord, and so they didn't get around to it. So again, it's been put off. So although it is slowly making its way through Parliament, it has been very slow. I mean, that's over a year since it was first discussed, and it's still in the parliamentary process.
Okay, well, we're talking with Max Ramsey. He's a journalist and he's covered a topic covering plastic surgery in Colombia. This is Dispatch Colombia. We'll return in a minute. More from Max Ramsey very soon. You're listening to Dispatch Colombia.
Transmite desde Colombia y para el mundo entero. Unimpau Radio. Escúchanos www.impau.tv y en frecuencia modulada 88.3 FM. Escuchas Unimpau Radio. Música, variedad y noticias. Unimpau Radio, la radio virtual de la Fundación Universitaria Impau.
De cara al mundo. Entrevistas,
trivias,
notas,
datos curiosos,
experiencias,
cultura y mucho más.
Solo en De cara al mundo. Escúchanos a través de Unimpau Radio cada 15 días, los miércoles de 3 a 4 de la tarde.
En Unimpau Radio, vive la felicidad.
Vive la felicidad.
Un programa motivacional para la promoción y aplicación de la felicidad en el ámbito laboral. Escúchanos todos los jueves a las 10 de la mañana a través de Unimpau Radio. Conduce Estefanía Ruiz y Javier Moreno. Vive la felicidad.
Tu piel roja radio. Deportes, actualidad, datos, viajes, anécdotas, entrevistas, concursos. Todo lo que te apasiona en un solo lugar. Tu piel roja radio, lunes a viernes, 12 a 1 de la tarde.
Oye, ¿y esos pitos?
Los del son de la 39.
¿Cómo así?
Sí, señor. El espacio musical